Hey, this is Jim. It's 12 p.m. in San Francisco, California on June the 8th. Please note that all discussions, analysis, and information presented are for general informational and educational purposes only and should not be construed as financial or any other form of professional advice. So I'm going to do something here that I don't usually do. I'm going to show everyone the private members page. I'm going to show the GME GameStop forecast. And then I'm going to show you, not as a way to brag, but I'm going to show you how accurate the model was on Friday because there's so much misinformation and trashing being done by the trolls against me and the company and everything else. And I'm going to prove to you guys that everything they're saying is one huge lie. Again, I don't usually talk about the forecasts and how accurate they are publicly because I know it comes across in a way that sounds like bragging, but I have no choice. I have to defend what's going on here because the lies are unbelievable. And, you know, in a crazy market environment like we had on Friday, this is where the model stands out from anything else I've seen out there, quite frankly. The higher the emotion, the more wild the market, the more wild the price action, the more accurate the behavioral analysis model is going to be. So I'm going to first show you guys this forecast. Now, this is going all the way back to, February. You can see where we had the hidden retest level at, let me move this. We had a hidden retest level at $12.75 that was hit. And then that became vibration. You can see this accumulation zone we had, right into the low during April. And then our first upside target was this hidden retest at $17. That was hit right here, $17. Once a retest level was hit, becomes vibration. This is the knuckleheads online that don't understand the entire universe, including the morons that are typing on the keyboard, making fun of vibration, that they're vibrating as they're doing that. So anyway, hidden retest is hit at 17. You go through vibration. Our next hidden retest level was at the $23 level. It was hit, $35.50 was hit, and $53.50 was hit. At that point, we said, using both the behavioral analysis model and leaning on the anemoid terminal, my other business, that we would most likely see price violently snap all the way back down to the $21 level, which was the monthly trigger during the month of May for the anemoid terminal. That's exactly what happened. And then I said, as we moved into June, if we could just remain above that $21 trigger level, that the good news was velocity would flip to the upside and 21 would become the floor. Again, the same group of trolls trashing, price levels below 21, you said it was a floor. Anyone who knows anything about markets knows that you're not going by exact pennies. You're going by, perceived value, trading bogeys, and you can see it right here, sort of left shoulder head, right shoulder. It built a nice little bottoming formation off of that $21 trigger level. And then velocity did flip positive for the month of June, and we were off to the races. Our next bogey was this 44.75 hidden retest level. That was hit, and then that becomes vibration. You guys can see some of the upside targets that we have for June and July. And then now I'm going to show you guys what the forecasts look like in real time. So what I'm going to show you here is a combination of things. On the right-hand side, this is the actual 5-minute bar chart for GME. On the left-hand side, I'm showing you this messaging box off to the margin of our members site. And this is for the, specifically for the GME subscribers. Unless someone's subscribed to Global Pro, then they have access to all of these different, everything, gold, crude oil, S&P. So people who had access to the GME page, they see this from the desk of JG Savoldi. If they choose to go and look at these messages on the member site, they can do it, or they can sign up and get real-time email from me. So this is exactly what I was messaging them. You guys can see it with your own eyes, and we're gonna dispel all the garbage from the trolls here. Okay. Okay. So starting right here. All right. So pre-market, I'm making a comment. GME CEO is acting like Adam Aaron. In other words, the dilution had come in. Looks like this will be part of the vibration sequence at 44.75 and the extra vibration at 38. Target today is a move right back up to vibration at 44.75. Okay, so this was my pre-market message as the stock had been hammered all the way down. And I was saying this looks like part of the vibration sequence because you can see right here as price dumped back down through 44.75 vibration right there. You can clearly see the swings. That's vibration. That's vibration. So I said it looks like this is part of the vibration sequence, meaning we had already taken care of the full ABCDE vibration sequence pre-market on Friday. But then when I messaged them, it was price was well below 44.75. So I was saying a move right back up to vibration to 44.75. That's a great trade, right? On the way back down, we created a hidden retest at 45.50, which we'll deal with on Monday. As early as Monday, I think that can be hit, and we'll talk about it down here. So then what happens after price moves up to that 44.75 level, you can see my next message. GME seeing a sharp bounce back toward vibration to 44.75, but we have two zones of weakness predicted today into 8:30 a.m. PST and 12:45 p.m. PST, looking like a broad range between 38 and 48. Now, keep in mind, we're all the way up here at $48 when I send out this message. So this is a full hour prior to this predicted zone of weakness into 8:30. Okay, and again, at the time, I'm thinking $38 looks reasonable on the downside, okay? What happens then is price comes crashing right back down. After we had predicted in the morning, price would move up to 44.75. Right here, real time, I'm saying right back down again into 8:30. You can see a low was posted into 8:10, but price collapsed into 8:30, overshot that $38 level, and at that point, as we started to roll down, I could see that there was a hidden retest left behind at the $28 level. So right here, I'm messaging them and saying the stock might move all the way down to 28 later today, but it already created a hidden retest at 45.50. So in real time, we're already warning about our next upside bogey after we follow through all these zones of weakness and hit these price and time targets. So again, first thing in the morning, we had warned and messaged members that we were looking for weakness into 8:30 a.m. and 12:45. So we get pretty much a direct hit into both time and price into the first zone of weakness. You see this bounce right here, but members still know that we have a zone of weakness into 12:45 in the afternoon with targets as low as 28, a retest level, right? So what happens? Price moves all the way down, and we end up hitting both time and price targets into the late afternoon. This is accuracy, you guys. This has nothing resembles the lies that you hear on Twitter about me or the behavioral analysis model or our offering, which, by the way, is dirt cheap. When I did side-by-side live trading, I charged $4.99 a month. We charge $49, I think, a month for a single product. So, if this doesn't help you in your trading, this call back to 44.75 and then this collapse into 8.30 and 12.45 from $44.75 all the way down to 28, then I can't help you. I'm not going to be sucked into the game of saying some of the things that these other younger guys say in their trading services, because believe me, those guys can get a knock on the door anytime from the SEC, and they're being really reckless and stupid about what they're doing with these so-called trading services. So I'm not going to get lured into that game out of ego and them challenging me to certain things. I'll absolutely do a live forecasting thing with anybody out there that wants to do one, by the way, anybody that hears my voice. If anyone wants to do live predictive forecasting in any market, any ticker, live cattle, wheat, corn, oil, anything, let me know, and I'll absolutely do that. But the trading part of it, these guys are going to get a knock on the door down the road, I'm telling you. Okay, so then what happens here is after we have all this tracking, I sent a message to members. We're making contact with the lower retest level, meaning that $28 level. That will also become vibration, but it's trampoline contact, meaning I'm not expecting price to spend a lot of time down here. I'm expecting price to rocket right back up again in a kind of a trampoline effect. Strength Monday into about 9:15 a.m. PST. So this is part of the predictive model. The target's going to be $38.75 vibration. So that's, what you see noted down here. If I scroll to the right, you're going to see, obviously we're going to have a pre-market trading on Monday, June 10th. And then as you move into, this will be the price box. This is, basically what I'm looking at behind the scenes. I'm not showing you everything, but this is a vibration at 38.75, and I wouldn't be blown away if price rockets up to 45.50 as early as Monday and as early as this first zone of strength. So there are plenty of other zones of strength on different intraday timestamps and date stamps for next week, starting on the 10th. So, if price is still flopping around down here at these lower levels, and we miss on the price targets, either one of these price targets, but price is rising and tracking into this 9:15 a.m. PST zone of strength. Add 5-10 minutes on both sides of that bullseye. But if price is rising but coming up short on the velocity side of this, then we'll just shift those out in the day on Monday or into other days next week that represent predicted zones of strength. But so here you go. And then my final message to everyone, right before the close was a big bounce Monday per my stuff. And, it's being predicted. And any week open would be a gift, meaning my model would be triggering, buys right out of the gate if this stock opens weak. I don't have a strong opinion either way per the open. In other words, whether the stock will open up or down. But I know the stock is a buy down here per my work. That's all I know. I never tell anyone that I'm positive about any price movement for any financial instrument. I can only say I'm positive I've done the work on my side after I double, quadruple check my data. I'm positive that I'm giving you an accurate assessment of what my behavioral analysis model says or my interpretation based on the anemoid terminal. That's it. So there you go, guys. That's the reality compared to the lies. And if there's anybody, again, this is tough because I don't have a marketing department to talk about these things, so it sounds like I'm bragging, which I'm not. And I wouldn't be talking about any of this stuff if it weren't for the fact that my hand was forced because, there are 15 different accounts spreading lies about me and the behavioral analysis model and Nimoy terminal on a daily basis. So, what am I going to do? But I since we are into the, talking about my own, model territory at this point, then, go show me any other methodology, any other forecaster out there that on Friday during the wild moves of GME up and down, we're telling you with this granularity of detail, price targets, not only price targets, but the timing of those price targets. I mean, clearly the move up that we messaged here, and then the move down into 8:30 a.m. PST and 12:45, hitting not only the zone of weakness, but the $28 level, both of them. Time and price. That's called forecasting suicide. Everyone on Wall Street will tell you, you never, ever, ever give time and price. You can give one or the other. Better yet, just be really vague and say it's a buy and don't say anything else, or it's a sell and don't say anything else. To do time and price targets is forecasting suicide. I do it just because that's the data that my model generates, and so win, lose, or draw, I don't care. If sometimes it's going to track and sometimes it's not going to track. Interesting thing about the markets over the past multiple years here is I've learned more often than not when a market does not track my model, it turns out to be price manipulation. And I never really went down that road because it's too much of a cop out. If you just automatically say if a market doesn't track my stuff, then somebody's cheating. But it turns out that 90% of the time that is true. That I'm seeing in the time and sales and in all the terabytes of recordings that I've captured now that it really has been Wall Street algorithmic cheating most of the time when the market's not tracking the model. And that's why when the VIX is elevated and rising, that's why you guys, if you've been a member of the S&P service that I have, that's why you see such excellent tracking into the zones of strength and weakness, sometimes right down to the minute, time and price target hits when the VIX is above 15 and rising, because the algorithms aren't able to run as actively and own the tape. In other words, there's so much actual human emotion and human trading mixed in with the algorithmic price pushing that it starts to look like a more real market, and therefore it tracks the behavioral analysis method much more accurately, sometimes, like I say, right down to the minute and time and price bullseyes. Anyway, that's it. Hope that didn't sound too much like bragging, but what else am I going to do? I have to defend this, and I have to show you guys what huge liars these other people are. And then you have to wonder, if you look at those accounts, what is their purpose behind that? Why don't they want you guys to take a look at my service or even believe any of the stuff that I post publicly on Twitter that costs you nothing? What are they protecting you from? And you know the answer. These guys are, total Wall Street shills. By the way, might as well show you guys this monthly setup if while we're here. But you guys can see that this sort of speed line goes all the way back to 2005 and 2007 here. Now, if this stock's going to melt up in a huge way, then what will happen is, as opposed to, you see the body of these candles right here, how they're sort of rejected off of that speed line, even though you had that huge wick in 21. If this stock's going to have a full-blown melt-up, we'll be keeping a really close eye on this speed line, because what you'll see is you'll see candles moving above it, and then you'll see the bottom end of the candle start to show that this speed line is acting as support as opposed to resistance, technical analysis 101. And if anything, you'll see wicks, like wicky lows below it. It's kind of interesting that will be, moving into, later this year and next year, sort of the $100 level, which is, anytime there are those round numbers, there's always a little bit of a psychological element there for whatever reason. If you study historical charts going back 100 years, it's true. So anyway, this is going to be really interesting. And again, if this stock is going to turn into a monster based on, maybe a complete pivot from their current business model, maybe it turns into a holding company that, with the amount of money they're raising now. But whatever the case, if that's going to happen and it's going to turn into sort of a long-term monster, as opposed to just these intermittent sort of squeezy moves, then that'll be our first big tell, because resistance will act as support, and then this thing can get really stupid based on the vertical trajectory of these speed lines. I don't think there's anything else that's I need to show you guys. Let's wrap it up right there. Good luck to everybody.